This episode of FSM is brought to you by Fidelity Behavioral Alliance, your number one source for behavior change. Fidelity Behavioral Alliance creates behavior change programs for schools, parents, and organizations looking to reduce problem behaviors and improve performance outcomes. Find out more at www.fidelitybehavioralalliance.com. If you would like to sponsor an episode of FSM, email us at shitmom@gmail.com. That's shxtmom@gmail.com.
It's time to put the kids to bed, so y'all get ready for another episode of For Shitty Moms.
All right. Hey, everyone. This is another episode of FSM. You're here with Dr. Lori, and today we have a special guest. Again, from the hometown. We have a lot of special guests from our hometown, but I guess a lot of people are doing some amazing things, and they're doing these things while being involved in the community, building careers, and raising families. So this episode is going to be a little different because instead of talking to a mom, we're going to talk to some dads in honor of Father's Day. So we're going to get some of their input and we're going to see how it goes. So without further ado, our special guest today is Prentice Mobley. I'm going to let you take over and introduce yourself to the audience.
Hey, all right. Thank you, Dr. Lori. I appreciate being here. Shout out to everyone tuning in. My name is Prentice Mobley. I'm a resident of Delray Beach, father of three, husband, also I'm the superintendent for the city of Delray Beach, that oversees all the recreation facilities, all the special events that go on in the city, the parks, and so forth. And I just try to do my best to uplift the community in any way I can, assist in any way I can, while trying to raise my children in a world that constantly changes. So once again, thanks for having me, and I'm honored to be here.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us. So I just want to know, and I'm sure the guests want to know as well, if you could describe what it's like the day in the life of at your job, your role with the city, and what does that look like? And then how do you fit parenting into that role, or is it the other way around? So give us an idea of what your everyday life looks like.
Okay, so I usually get up around like 5:30. I get up around 5:30. My wife is a RN. She's a nurse, so
Okay.
she works like 7 to 7, 12-hour shifts. So usually my day usually goes. I get up at 5:30. I would go do me a workout. I take a nice little run or something. Sometimes I shoot some basketball shots, and I wake the kids up, prepare breakfast, get them ready for school. Even though my daughter was a senior this past year, I still have to wake her up, get them ready for school, get myself ready for work. Usually I get my stuff out the night before. Everything's pretty much prepared the night before.
Okay.
And we live in World Palm, so leaving World Palm, then driving about 30 minutes, 35 minutes, depending on the traffic, to Delray, drop all the kids off to school. This past year, my daughter would drive my car, so I would, if I didn't drop her off, I'll drop myself off
Oh.
and get in my city vehicle. Let her take drop Malia, who's in third grade, drop her off first at Banyan Creek. And then if I didn't drop uh, my oldest off first, and she wanted the car that day, which happened a lot this year, she would just drop me off to the impound. I would just get my work vehicle,
Okay.
and I just jump in my work vehicle and move around from there. And then they're all set until it's time to pick them up later. But and I start my work day basically checking emails. I'm a non-exempt employee, so I basically I'm on the clock all the time. I
Okay.
don't really have a set schedule, 8 to 9 o'clock schedule, pretty much. It's pretty constant.
Oh, wow.
And I'll check emails, whatever meeting set that day. I get with my assistant and see what I got that day on my calendar. Just basically go through the calendar, whatever presents itself that day. If it's a Tuesday, I got commission meetings, and that requires different things. If it's a normal day during the week, I usually like to be out. I don't like sitting at my desk unless I have to do something like prepare a presentation or, doing some budgetary things.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm usually out and about checking the parks. We have like 48 parks in Delray.
Oh,
So I
wow.
like to go to each park. The biggest parks up there, my responsibility are the staff parks. So I will go to the parks that are staffed and, talk with the staff, what's going on, whatever issues, because there's always something going on in the city of Delray Beach. So it's never dull. And my day just goes. It's just a constant thing. Putting out fires, making adjustments, paying for things, improving things. And then depending on that day, I may have a community meeting. I'm on a lot of different community work groups and boards. Healthier Dairy Beach, which
Mm-hmm.
focus on mental health and trauma. Also, I got my buddy works at the with some nonprofits. Whatever I can do assist them in they daily trying to reach their goals. uh, and then I usually go pick up my daughter from out of school,
Mm-hmm.
and then once I pick her up, take her to wherever her daily activity that day is, whether it's dance or basketball or whatever she has going on, while coordinating with my other daughter, who I was working this year. Get them together, trying to coordinate that while still working,
Mm.
and then I find a way to when it's time to go, which they're like, Dad, are we leaving? Dad, are we leaving? We leave usually around 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. Leave Delray and head up to World Palm. Get to World Palm at the house. Walk the dog. Make sure the dog's straight. And then prepare for that evening. Usually cook. If we didn't stop and get something, I'll probably cook something quick, or I'll drop the kids off and run to Publix and grab something because I don't like grocery shopping big like that. I like it fresh.
Mm-hmm.
So I just might just go get it right then, and then yeah, man. Then if I have a little time, I might have me a glass of wine or something, read, and still checking emails because I'm still kind of on call on the clock.
Okay.
Things are going on in my department until 10 o'clock at night. So then that's it, man.
Oh,
Then I
that's
try
a
to go to
long
sleep and do it
day.
all over the next day. Yeah.
Oh,
So
wow. Okay. So, oh, wow. So, you guys, I take it there's some extracurricular activities, aftercare, and all that stuff, but that's still
yeah,
a really long day. That sounds like a long day for everybody. So,
yeah,
would you consider like your job? Would you consider that field like a parent friendly? Where if one of the kids are sick, do you have a difficult time trying to get time off? Do you have to coordinate with your wife? Like, who's gonna pick up if the school calls and one of the kids are sick? Or are you in a place where they're pretty understandable, family comes first, and they don't give you a hard time about stuff like that? How does that work?
yeah. Yeah, I mean, me being I'm kind of like the boss, so in that sense, I have a lot of flexibility to move around.
Okay.
More flexibility than my wife, being that she's at a hospital. She
Right.
can't just leave. So when it comes to picking the kids up early, uh, doing all that, I do that. That's why they go to school in Delray and not World Palm or
Okay.
Wellington, because I have that availability. I have the flexibility to move around a lot. So if I got to pick them up early, or there's an issue at the school. Most of the times, a lot of teachers, they know me. They don't even know, and that goes for both of my kids. And my oldest has a different mom,
Mm-hmm.
but even her growing up, same thing. Like a lot of teachers, they know me, they see me, and they're always like, "Where are the moms?" Like they're around, kind of, but it's just
Yeah.
that they see me all the time. So, yeah, man, very, I'm able to do that. I'm blessed to be in that position. So yes, to answer your question, yes, my job provides great work-life balance to allow me to have that flexibility. No one really, trips on that. But I don't take any days off, so I just do it within the mix of the days.
Okay.
That's my issue. I don't
Oh,
take enough time. Yeah.
okay. Well, that's awesome because normally you hear women trying to get the jobs that have a little more flexibility because the husbands usually have a more difficult time trying to leave work and things like that. So that's kind of cool that we get a chance to get some insight where the roles are a little reversed. You have more
Yeah.
flexibility, so you're a little more hands on. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So,
Thank
besides working, and parenting, do you have any other like hobbies, interests, businesses, side hustles? What do you do? I mean, your schedule sounds pretty jam
you. Yeah.
packed already, but is are you able to do something for yourself outside of work and parenting?
Yeah, I mean, I like to read when I get some quiet time, or if I'm not reading, I write. I got a couple of unfinished projects I've been working on as far as writing. I write music. I really don't, in my profession, I really don't have the time to do a lot of outside things. I mean, I do event hosting.
Okay.
Uh, I host events, but right now, if I'm not traveling, trying to travel or putting together trips like that. Uh, my few free time, that I do have without my kids or my profession or trying to be a better husband is, it's far but few, but I like to take advantage of it. Somehow I'm trying to work on that. I'm trying to, take more time for myself, because sometimes I feel like, some of the things I want to do, I'm not able to do, because I'm kind of are that steady person kind of leading the household.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't really, it doesn't really bother me that much, because you make sacrifices for your family, you make sure everybody good. So
Mm-hmm.
that makes me feel happy just by doing that. So I'm not really upset about it. But my therapist did tell me I need to do a better job.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah,
so that's good that at least you recognize it and you're taking steps towards improving that. So that's pretty cool. How would you
yeah.
describe yourself as a dad? What kind of dad are you?
Oh man. You asking me or you asking my kid? I mean, me. I mean, I would say I'm a cool dad. I'm the enforcer. You know
Okay.
what I'm saying? I'm very protective of my children. Very involved. I have a vast knowledge of a lot of things that sometimes surprise my kids. And being that the profession I'm in, I'm able to kind of keep up with what's going on with like the current trends and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I like to joke around, so I like to give them, I like to have fun with them, but at the same time, they know like I'm the serious one. Like, I don't play,
Okay.
but I like to keep the mood very, happy, because I have two daughters, like so, you know, that's them my babies, so but it's like dealing with their attitudes and the mood changes and stuff like that. I
Uh-huh.
mean, sometimes I don't have the patience for it, but I did grow to deal with it better. So
Okay.
yeah.
So what would your kids say about you as a dad? How do you think they would describe you?
Uh, okay, my oldest would probably say I'm overprotective because she's a senior, so she would probably say I'm overprotective, and she called me Mister Make It Happen.
Okay.
Uh,
That's nice.
cause yeah, yeah, cause she already know, if I even though if I tell her this ain't gonna work, she know if I have to do it, I'm gonna do what I have to do to make it happen for her. So she called me that, so that's her name for me. My pie, my third grader, I don't even know what she would call. She just would call me cool, I guess, cause
Okay.
she's experiencing different things that my oldest didn't experience, because I'm in a different position in my life.
Okay.
So like, her experience as a child is a little different from the experience of my oldest. And
Now,
then my son, he's 3, so he just thugging, in a positive way.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, how is that dynamic between the two girls, being that I'm sure the oldest, does she recognize the differences between like the way she was brought up and the way the younger sister is being brought up? And how
Yes.
do you kind of explain that to her?
Yeah, man, it was difficult. I'm not gonna, it was a difficult time because, they're 10 years apart. So, my daughter was used to being the only child for a while. So when the new baby came on and the new lady, because they don't have this, they're half sisters. They don't share the same mother.
Okay.
So just dealing with the fact that me and her mom wasn't together, and I dealt with a lot of stuff with that with her, and then bringing in a new child and a new woman. It was a lot of conversations behind that, trying to get to that point. um at first, when the baby came, she was really cool, but as Malia gets older, they fight more. So like, they're always fighting, but it's love there. It's true love there,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. They have their moments. She does her hair. She picks her up sometimes when I can't, when I ask her, I'm in a meeting and I can't really move around, she'll go pick her up. So it's been helpful. It's a love-hate relationship between them. I mean, they're
Okay.
sisters.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it was a little bit of jealousy there at some moment. It's interesting to see the two ladies and the age difference and how they interact, and what one. you're 18 and you're telling me it's not fair that a 9-year-old got an Owala cup. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like like, you go get your own cup. Like, it's stuff like that still to this day,
Right.
which is, I think, is crazy. It's like, it's so petty, but I
Well,
guess
to
it's
her, it's
sibling
probably
rivalry.
like you got to pay your dues. I
Yeah,
couldn't get that cup when
she's
I
like,
was that
Malia, you don't know
age.
nothing about that. Yeah, you're right. She tell her that, like, you don't know nothing about it. You just got it made. You just think money grow on trees. I'm like, look at you. You sound like me. Look at you. At the same time, asking me for money. Like,
Right.
how you gonna tell the youngest one, you know what I'm saying? Money don't grow on trees or whatnot, and then you come around to me and you ask me something outrageous. You know, it's, man, the nerve,
Well, she paid
the
her
nerve.
dues. That's why she's older.
I
She paid her
guess,
dues.
I guess so.
But
I'm,
that's
I'm paying her
good.
dues,
Yeah.
paying her tuition.
Yeah, Mr. Make It Happen.
Crazy.
Yes, that's why you got the name. But that's good. It sounds
I
like, I
guess so.
mean, that sounds like a typical sister relationship. My sister and I are 5 years
Yeah.
apart, and until
Okay.
she went away to college, we were like oil and water. Like, we did
Mm.
not get along, didn't like each other. We would fight all the time. We were very protective of each other, so we didn't want anybody else like messing with our sister, but we
Right.
really didn't get along until she moved away to college. And I'm 5 years
Wow.
younger. So it kind of like hit home as we were dropping her off. I didn't realize that she was staying because she went to
Oh.
school in Tampa. So I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, cool. Like, we went around the campus, we saw the college classrooms, and we helped her set up her dorm. And it just didn't register that she was staying and we were going, back
Oh
home.
man.
So
Yeah.
when we drove
Yeah.
off, I kind of just had a breakdown. And my mom was like, y'all don't even like each other. Like, what's like, what
Oh
you crying
man.
for? And I'm like, so we just gonna leave her? And she like, it's college, yeah. So then we got a lot closer. I think we just kind of took advantage of being together all the time growing up. Your parents are like, if you go, your sister gotta go. If you go here, take your sister
Right.
with you. So I think we kind of took advantage of that. And then once we were in a position where we could not be together every single day, it was like devastating. Like, I can't
Oh
believe you
man.
let her go all the way over here. Like,
So you foreshadowing, cause that's about to happen to me. My
yeah,
my daughter's getting ready to go to Tallahassee, and my daughter, man, I don't think she knows like either one of them. I told them, I said, but it's gonna hit y'all. Y'all gonna be like, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
This is it. You feel
yeah,
me? So I feel like I got that's coming for me. You kind of foreshadowing what I'm
yeah.
gonna be experiencing
The
here
the
in a couple
excitement
months.
is there, but I don't think you can really you can try to prepare for it, but it's
Hmm.
probably really not going to sink in until you guys are like, all right, dorm room set up, you got everything you need, we get ready to hit the road. And, then I
Yeah,
think it'll probably sink in. So that'll be interesting. You got to keep us posted on how that goes because I'm
yeah,
just interested to see. So she's going to school in Tallahassee?
yes,
Okay.
yes,
That's awesome. Congratulations. Yeah, I saw she
thank
just
you.
graduated. So you got one
Yeah,
under your belt. You got one graduate
yeah,
under your belt and now you got two more to go.
yeah. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know why I took that big of a break. I'm tripping.
I
I
see a
could have
lot
been, you know what I'm saying, living my life right now. Damn.
I see a
I
lot
don't
of
know what
people
I was
doing
thinking.
that though. I feel like our generation, a lot of us, we may have had kids early, and then I feel like our generation, especially, I'm seeing a lot of us hit that reset button and having, 10 plus years between like your children. But like you said,
Yeah,
you kind of in a different point in life. So I think it's doable. I see people doing it now. So yeah,
yeah, yeah.
it'll
It's
be fine.
doable, but it's different. I guess sometimes you want that other kid, and you don't realize how that times flew by.
Mm-hmm.
But having that first kid kind of give you experience in a way, and then you kind of feel like you know what you're doing. But then the other one comes, and you're like, God dang it, my other child ain't do this. You know what I'm saying? Oh, he totally different than my, you know what I'm saying? So you be
Right.
like, damn, what was I thinking? It ain't the
Okay.
same. Each child is different. You know what I'm saying?
So how are you handling that? All these different personalities now, because like you said, you went from just one being an only child. Now you
Hmm.
have two more added into that. So how do you parent them all the same, or do you kind of switch it up because their personalities are different?
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I parent them differently. My oldest is older, so me, she has a guy friend. I almost said boyfriend. She has a guy friend, and
Okay.
I guess she call him the boyfriend. I don't call him that. So that's
Okay.
just to be clear. Yeah, she has the guy friend, so it's conversations about that. I mean, about stuff that she got going on because she's of age.
Mhm.
So it's our conversation a little bit more mature
Mhm.
and more like a guidance thing. With my 3 year old, I mean, I'm sorry, with my 9 year old, it's more of a I'm continuing molding her, raising her, getting her assistance, tutoring, having fun, more loving on her. She's like a real daddy's girl. Both of them are.
Mhm.
So I'm a little bit more with her. I guess not as hard as I am with my oldest, but at the same time, um, she's with me all the time because she doesn't have a job. She doesn't, so
Mhm.
she's always with me more so
Okay.
than my oldest because my oldest has a life now. So she's just doing her own thing.
Right.
You feel me? So my other one's always with me. So yeah, she sees different, she still gets punishments and stuff like that, So it's a little different. But my son, he's totally different because he's like me. Like he's the most like me out of all my kids.
Okay.
It's three. So I'm a little hard on him, honestly. I love on him, you feel me?
Mhm.
But I feel like, I'm more like you're a young man, so it's a whole different thing than raising two daughters. It's
Right.
like a different mode my mind goes into,
Okay.
with dealing with him. But he gets babied by his mother and his grandmother and all that stuff. But I don't really baby him per se.
Okay.
I love on him. I love on him, but I don't baby him.
Okay. So, with that being said, I want you to think back to your most recent or most memorable. I guess I call this a shitty mom moment, but for you, like a
Hmm.
shitty dad moment or a shitty parenting moment.
You mean like, well, I messed up,
What?
or
Well, when you feel like you messed up, you feel like you could have handled something differently. One of those situations.
man? Um, I'm trying to think of something recent. Recent things been pretty smooth recently. I can say that I definitely had my moments where I definitely have to look back and I have to say, damn, did I handle that the right way? I can say recently I spoke on the guy friend thing with my oldest. When she started doing, her dating thing or whatever she was doing, you can tell how I talk about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was I wasn't in the loop of it. So her mom knew about it. My wife knew about it. Even grandma knew about it. But
Mm.
like no one, and did not want to tell me what the situation was or what was going on. So an incident happened, and I found out about it, and I think my daughter asked me something about going to pick him up or something like that, and we got in a big fight. Uh, we got in a big fight about the thing. Cause I think she asked for him to come over to play video games or something like that. And me and her got in a big fight. I'm like, nah, ain't no dude come to my house. And she was like, oh well, you hate him and dad, I'm getting older and all this bull crap, right? So I'm like, man, listen, you getting older, he not coming to my house. Like she's like, you don't even acknowledge him. I'm like, first of all, no one told me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, you talking about acknowledge somebody? No, I don't acknowledge him. I was like, man, when you go to college, y'all not even gonna like be together. Like it's just a, you know what I'm saying, a
You
fling
said
thing.
that? Oh
Yeah, I did,
no.
I did, I did,
Okay.
because they're the same age, but they're a grade apart.
Okay.
And I was like, man, you're gonna go to school, you're gonna have more experiences. This dude ain't gonna be around. Why I need to meet him? Because she was like, Dad, I want you to meet him. I was like, I don't need to meet Buddy. I don't need to meet him. Like for
Okay.
what? He ain't nobody. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And we got in a little fight about that. And I had to really sit and like just be like, you know what, man? Like this is life, right? And your daughter, she's not 5.
Yeah.
She's 18. She was 17 at the time, And what made her think she had to hide that from me in the first place and not come to me about it because we're very close. That was one thing. And then the other thing that I really felt bad about the things I said and how I said them,
Okay.
and some of the other things I might have spewed out at the time. Um, where I was coming from a place of guidance and love, but I really was hurting her feelings.
Okay.
I really hurt her feelings a lot, and and yeah, I came to the point where, she got upset. I basically told her she can go. Like I was like, you can go with your mama. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Okay.
get out my house, go live with your mama. Like,
Right.
and man, that was not a good thing because I felt really bad about that, and
Mhm.
I ended up apologizing to her and going to her and telling her, I'm sorry, I love her, and I just, I'm just very protective, and I'm a man, I know how guys is, that whole
Mhm.
spiel, and just, I support her, just communicate with me, and eventually we got to a cool spot where I'm okay with the dude right now.
Okay.
It's he still know,
Yeah.
he still know it ain't like that, but I think we're in a better place now where. And just yesterday he came over. He came over yesterday,
Okay.
and he
That's
was treating.
progress.
Yeah, so yeah, I made a lot of progress,
Yeah.
a lot of progress, but it took that, that self accountability on myself, being a dad and her being a woman, young woman, and just being able to look at that and really step back and say, hey, how can we make this open those lines of communication better when I'm not the angry dad, and then she rebelled, she started rebelling against me
Mhm.
and doing
Yeah.
things just because, despite of me, and I didn't want that, so
Well,
yeah, I
it's
felt
good
bad
that you
bad about that.
recognize that because usually that's what happens next. Like, you don't like
Yeah.
it, and that's the age as well. So I can remember taking my mom through it around that age, and I'm like, Mom, how did you survive like two teenage girls doing that rebellious thing? Like, if
Yeah.
she says up, I say down. If she says no, I say yes. Like,
Yeah.
just ready to, I guess, prove that you're an adult, especially I feel like for girls, if they're more responsible, they're getting the good grades, if they have like a job, you kind of get that sense of like, I'm an adult already. Like,
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Tell me about it. Tell me
so
about
at
it.
least you kept the lines of communication open because I feel like normally, just from personal experience, I feel like that's where the rebellion started. Like, my mom gave me a hard no, and it
Yeah.
was like, I'm grown. Like, I'm practically grown. I'm 17. I'm almost out of this house, and I'm gonna be taking care of myself, and I have a job already. Like,
Mm.
and that was
Mm.
the
Mm.
beginning of the end, right?
Man.
But it's good that
Man.
she was able to speak her piece. You were able to tell her where you were coming from, so both of you have a better understanding. So I like that because
Yeah.
yeah, when you have the older ones, I feel like especially the younger generations, we have taught our kids how to advocate for themselves, and
Yeah.
it's kind of like a double-edged sword when they start advocating for themselves with you. So
Yes. Goodness.
so you
Yes.
you
Goodness.
have to like respect their voice and just try to find a way to strike the balance. And I feel like I'm dealing with that now. I have a
Yeah.
12-year-old. He's a boy,
Okay.
and I want
Yeah.
him to be able to advocate for himself and speak up and articulate because I feel like boys are more inclined to shut down and not really say
Yeah.
how they're feeling in the first place. So I'm always
Yeah.
trying to get him to like, you need to use your words. You need to say what you feel. Don't just say forget it, suck your teeth and walk off, forget about it. But when he starts
Yeah.
doing it to me, I'm like, huh? Like,
Yeah.
wait a minute.
Yeah.
Slow
And
down,
that's
slow
big as a
down.
mom that you do that. That's big as a mom that you do that because as boys, we got a soft spot for mommy, and even though we might feel like mommy's annoying us, being annoying,
Yeah.
we
Oh,
got that soft
definitely.
spot for mommy. So we here. So
Yeah.
he listening, but he just
I hope so.
12. Oh man, shout out to you.
Yeah, because he's getting
Shout
to
out
that
to
middle
you.
school age, and some days I'm like,
Oh man.
is this like Okay, what's happening right now? Because,
That
some
chest
day,
poking,
right. And I'm
that
starting to
chest
see
poking
it.
out a little bit.
Yeah, I'm starting to seeing it. Like, did I just hallucinate? Like, what just happened? Chill out. Like, I
Hmm.
know I want you to advocate, but you doing it a little too well right now. I don't like it.
Yeah, 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 a
So,
little bit. Yeah.
so right now with parenting, what are your three biggest challenges right now as a parent?
Um, Not in this particular order, but I would say the challenges would be just time, just spending equal time with them because they are at different stages in their life. You know, you have one getting ready to go to college. You have one that was in had a tough year in third grade with the testing and stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
she has her challenges that she's dealing with. And then having the young guy who's 3, who's getting ready to go to kind of daycare, go to school, and make sure he's developing properly and getting him involved in sports. So that's a challenge, spreading the love and basically three different. I guess the 9-year-old and the 3-year-old, that's 6 years apart, but the different they're in different decades almost. It feels like balancing that. That's a big challenge. Financially, hell, just being able to provide, man. Living in South Florida, as you know,
Mm-hmm.
it's expensive, man, and you need multiple streams of income throughout the household. And it's just the kids are involved in things, and you know um, you want to be able to for them to experience those things, and also with that, also live your own lifestyle, and and not be in a bind that way. So that's also a challenge. And third one would just be I guess being able, and now I ain't talking about financially. I'm just talking about myself, taking care of myself, making sure I'm in the right mental space, making sure I am healthy, so I can see my 3-year-old walk across that stage like that, and see him have grandkids. Like being self-aware of how important I am to my kids, and not being selfish enough, and not go get checkups and not do those things, and bring more stress to the family because I'm not looking at my for my health as well and my mental capacity, and going to jail and doing 20 years, or doing something out of selfishness,
Mm-hmm.
and taking myself out of that. So that's always a challenge, especially black man in America. You just got to be, it could be hard out here, but
Right.
that challenge, be there for my children, is, I would say, that's top three in
So,
no particular order.
how are you handling those right now? Are you trying to like feel your way through it? I mean, you've obviously put some thought into it and you've
Yeah,
acknowledged the challenges. So that's usually like the first step. But are
yeah,
you actively working towards, like, let's say, with your well, you already said that though earlier, with your health, you
yeah,
kind of make sure you get up, you go running or do some basketball or some kind of physical activity.
yeah,
What about having your own life? Because I feel like
yeah.
that's like a reoccurring theme. So how do you coordinate with your wife? Like, what does that look like? How do you fit that in? How are you making that work?
Man, it's I mean, I guess it's working, man. I guess I'm just going with the flow. I mean, I have my pockets where I'm able to do certain things, but the day to day, man, it's so jam packed, and sometimes, I'm okay with taking a certain sacrifice, I think. But like I stated earlier, like just talking to, the time I have with my therapist, and talking about certain things that I'm trying to heal from, you know, personally,
Mm-hmm.
that has nothing to do with my family. Uh, I think that I'm gonna get there. I believe I'll get there. I'm not there yet,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and it's you know
Okay. So
I
what?
hate to say it is what it is. I hate saying that saying, but it's a fact. So I'll try to get there. I'm just thinking of different ways to open up more space, more time for myself. But
Mm-hmm.
it's a big challenge.
Yeah, and it's small changes. So what about
Yeah.
the time with the kids, do you kind of schedule time with them, or do you get that time with them through like extracurricular activities, or are you still trying to figure that out as well, the time component with the kids?
Yeah, I get your time with them. It's just that I think each of them deserve like one-on-one time.
Okay.
So that I would try to plan. I always have at least two of them at a time, at least two of them at one time. You know what I'm saying? Me and my oldest, we spend a lot of time
Mhm.
together per se because we're doing stuff getting her ready for college and picking up from work or we do that. One-on-one time with my son, I have to plan that. I have to coordinate that with Shooty, which is my 9-year old. I have to plan one-on-one time with the
Mhm.
younger ones. I have to on my schedule. I got to find it. The good thing about my job is, I work in parks and recreation, so like a lot of times I'm working and my kids are there. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Cool.
So I'm getting multiple things done at one time. So
Okay.
for example, we might have a spring fest, which is something we do for Easter
Mhm.
eggs. So I bring them there, and it's activities for the family. So it's family activities going on, but I'm also there working at the same time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's me spending time with them and the extracurricular activity while I'm at work.
Okay.
So I'm doing multiple things at one time, and that happens a lot. That's why I said when we talked about the flexibility and me being able to do different things, that's a way that I have figured out to kind of fit that quality time in
Mhm.
because I'm working, but I'm not working. I don't work a job where, I need this area secured because I'm building a foundation for a building and it might
Mhm.
fall on you. Nah, it's more of it's event based.
Yeah.
It's programming. It's activity. So they're having fun and I'm working at the same time.
Oh, that's
So
kind of like best of both worlds. It almost
yeah.
reminds me of like my background. I started in education, and
Mhm.
initially I thought I wanted to be a principal until I started looking at how much time the principal spends at the school.
Oh
And it's
yeah.
like,
Oh yeah.
oh, how are they juggling families and how are they there for their own kids when you think
Yeah.
about how often and how long a school is open, all the sporting events, the principal, that school is their baby, right? So
Yes.
they
Yes.
are there before the school opens. They're on call 24/7 if something happens at the school. If it's like a
Yep.
football game or something, they have to be there,
Yep.
and it just put it into perspective. Like, I don't think I can be a principal with my husband. He works a corporate job, so
Mhm.
he would work sometimes 60 hours a week. That somebody's
Yeah.
got to be with the kid. Like, how am I going to be a
Correct.
principal? So it's cool that even though you are on call all the time, like you said, it's event based, it's more family friendly. So you can have your kids there at the same time, because it,
Yeah.
like hearing you talk about it and how you're on call constantly, you're in control of the events, or where the space where the events are taking place. That
Yeah.
does sound like, oh, like the principal at the school, they are there all the time, which leaves
Yeah.
them with limited time for their own kids. But it's cool that if it's community based, then you can have your kids tag along, and they're having a good time and you're working. So that's that sounds like the best of both worlds. That's pretty cool. So my next question, do you have a dad village? We always hear about the mommy village, helping out people you can call to like help you with the kids or help give you
Yeah.
support. Do you have a daddy village?
Yeah, my mom. Yeah, for
Okay.
sure, 100%. 100%. My mom helps out a lot uh
Okay.
when it comes to my village. I mean, yeah, my mom, cuz I can go there. It's like my second home anyway. Take the kids there. If I need somebody else to pick them up, she's able to pick them up if she can. Watch them on the weekends if me and the wifey want to go, you know, do our thing, So yeah, that's my village as far as me.
That's
And then
good.
also,
I like
I
that.
have my wife's mom, but she's a nurse too, so
Oh, wow.
it's kind of her availability.
Yeah, that.
But yeah, that's my village.
Okay. And
Yeah.
then So you spend a ton of time like working and with the kids, but it sounds like you've kind of figured out a system that works for you.
Yeah.
So when you're working through like your different systems, or is there any time that you feel like there's something that you're doing that, okay, this is working but I want to do it a little better? Or do you have any things like that where you see something that you want to improve on, aside from, like, I know we talked about like the time, the balancing and things like that,
Yeah.
but certain expectations that you have for yourself, like, do you have certain expectations that you feel like sometimes you haven't met them yet?
Yeah. 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 I do. There's certain things I still got, some life goals that I'm trying to get to. That have kind of had to take a back seat in certain areas, but we're gonna get there. Their family goals as well. Also, me and my wife has goals that we're trying to reach. So I try to be goal oriented, even with my children. Like every aspect of my life, I try to have not necessarily have a plan, because you got to be able to wing it too.
Mm-hmm.
But also have an end game, or someone where you're trying to get to.
Mm-hmm.
So with my oldest daughter, of course, is graduating, is going to college, and she wants to be like a labor nurse or something like that.
Okay.
Getting her through that process, working her through that, so she can reach hers. My my 9-year old was in third grade, so she really was struggling with the testing this year. Dealing with that, getting her a tutor, promising her this, that, hey, you'll get this if you read every night. Her individual goal, and how that works, and that's an area I definitely improve on, because I gotta find her a good tutor,
Okay.
but that fits in with the schedule. And then improving just with my son, just being, just remember to love on him while I'm giving him that tough love. You know what I'm saying? Just remember to continue to love on him as well. Because when I came up, what I'm saying, my dad didn't really love on me.
Mm-hmm.
But my mom did. She was strict too, strict in them up. Ain't not strict now though. Not strict with them
Oh, of
grandkids,
course
but
not.
yeah,
Her
not
job
strict with
is
them
done.
grandkids. But boy, oh boy, God dog, how the mighty have fallen.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always try to improve though. That's with everything. You know what I'm saying? I take that. Uh, I'm always trying to analyze self and processes. That's a part of my job too. Operations and process in the city, making sure the department runs a certain way
Mm-hmm.
where we be more efficient. What kind of needs does the community need from a programming standpoint, activities? What kind of staff fits at this facility? Do I need to switch this person out? Does this person need to go? You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Budgetary. That's a part of my job too. So like I said, I'm multitasking. So a lot of things that I do for my career kind of translate into my everyday life, about analyzing and understand, being better at processes,
Mm-hmm.
being more efficient in whatever it is that we're doing. So yes, I think that there are a lot of areas of improvement.
Okay.
Um,
That's
yeah,
pretty cool. I feel like when I speak to a lot of moms, I think they get overwhelmed because they just look at the day to day and they're kind of stuck in that day to day. And I've
yeah,
never had anyone on the show talk about like the overall process of how the
yeah,
family is functioning. But I guess, I don't know, I guess maybe the role as like the head of the household, as a dad, as
right,
a husband, you probably do have to sit back and look at where you guys are as a family as a whole and how you're going to move them forward.
yeah,
Versus, I have my interviews and I hear a lot of moms just like, they can tell you how to get through the day, like from point A to
yeah,
point B, how to get this one to
yeah,
practice and this one to this practice. And I had one mom, like, when you were talking about spending time with the kids individually, she
mhm,
worked out some kind of schedule because this kid likes basketball, but this one likes volleyball. So we're going to do your personal time during your season, and this season ends at this time. So that's when you get your personal time. And
yeah,
I never hear anyone talk about, I guess, the overall picture. And I think it's
yeah,
easy to always hear about moms, the parenting struggles, but even me as a mom, I've never had to think about my family as a whole and like, okay, what is our family goal as a whole and how am I going to move the whole unit forward
Yeah.
together? Because I feel like just hearing you saying it, I'm like, damn, that's a lot of pressure. Like,
Hey, hey, but I don't look at it like that. I just look at like when you're on I look at it like this. I look like I'm on top of the tree, right?
okay.
Like how you have a family tree
Mm-hmm.
and you have the great, and you be like, oh, such and such and such and such, and then the tree just fans out.
Mm-hmm.
So I look at it like this is my tree. So I have to see how this tree is gonna grow and bloom into a big tree.
Mm-hmm.
How we're gonna get there with certain things. So my mindset has always been to look at the overall view of things. You know what I'm saying? So I always, my wife may not be like you said. She might be day to day. She come
Mm-hmm.
home. She's nursing all. She works at the VA. She comes home, and she just sometimes she just, what I'm saying. She'll eat and she'll go to sleep. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And I talk to her about her balance. I be like, hey man, hey, I understand, but you got, what I'm saying? You're a wife and a mom too now. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You ain't just working every day. I get it, but so that's a whole nother conversation. But
Mm-hmm.
um, I think that the overall picture, man, you just gotta have those goals set for each child, for the family, for yourself. But they all got to kind of come together in that tree. They all got to kind of make sense
Mm-hmm.
together. Because if I want to be a rapper and go on tour, does that really kind of fit in where my family kind of is right now
Right.
and what we're trying to do? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, if I love that industry, then I got to find a way where I could probably still be in that industry, but still make it make sense to my family.
Right.
Because everything got to kind of, when you start families, man, you can't be so much about self so much, because you started the family. Like, I'm the reason they here.
Right.
I'm the
Yeah.
reason they are here. So I can't, you know, forget that, I brought them here. So guide them and lead them. I feel like that's a part of being a man in the house, just leading the family and making sure that everyone sees that big picture, and not necessarily when wifey gets so frustrated to be able to, you know, talk with logic and say, hey, well, yeah, that was a day. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they gave you too many patients. I get it. Damn, eight? Ooh, I get it. But guess what? Tomorrow is this. You know what I'm saying? And you know
Right.
what? At the end of the month, we're going here. And I got a trip to Belize. We're going to Belize in 4 months. You
Mm-hmm.
know that? We can, you know what I'm saying? And just try to look at the
Bigger
what's
picture.
coming up to get past what's happening right now. Cause if you
Yeah.
get caught up in the day to day so much, man, you're gonna be stressed out every day.
Yeah.
And you get stressed
That's
out
why we
every
got the
day.
show.
Gotta have something. You gotta have something to look forward to. You feel me? So I'm really big on that.
That's cool. I
For
like
show,
that.
show.
Look, now you giving me some ideas because
Okay.
usually when I say I get swallowed up in the day to day, like homework, teachers,
Yeah.
emails, work, this, that, and the third, and sometimes I look at my husband. He'll wake up 5 o'clock in the morning, like, see you going to the gym, and I'm like,
That's real though.
how?
That's
Like,
real.
how? Like, I'm still trying to recover from yesterday. And he just, like, when the sun come up, like, he's back from the gym, protein shake, like, all right, let's go. And I'm
Yeah.
like, how does that, how? All of this stuff just happened this week and you just getting up and
Yeah.
going to the gym? And he kind of like, yeah,
Yeah. Cause you know what? Ain't nothing you can do about yesterday.
I
You know what I'm
guess.
saying?
Yeah, you're
Ain't
right.
nothing you can do about that. Like every day is just a new day. You know what I'm saying? I live by this motto that I don't. Of course, you got to know the days of the week, but I don't believe in the days of the week: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, because that puts you in a different mindset too. When you think about weeks, so you say Monday, oh man, damn, Monday you got to go to work. I got the blues. I got the Monday blues, and then you got Hump Day on Wednesday,
Right.
and then you got Friday. It's like, oh, the weekend, and then you mad on Sunday. So damn, I gotta go to work tomorrow. So I try not to think like that. I just try to think like it's a new day,
Uh
like it's
huh.
another day.
Okay.
God gave us another day. It's another day. It's another opportunity to do something. So make the best of the day. It's a new day. Nothing you can do about yesterday. What happened
Right.
yesterday? That happened yesterday. Unless you know how to time travel, you can go back and change that. You
Right.
can't. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, that doesn't mean you just move on. That's not what it is. It's just that you can remember yesterday, but you don't have to live in yesterday. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? That's
I guess
all.
that's what it is. I think it's living in yesterday or what happened earlier in the
Yesterday still
day.
got you mad.
Right.
I can't
Yes.
believe they emailed me that. I can't believe what's name
Yes.
saying all caps. Did you see that?
Then you
All
have to
caps.
unpack it with your girlfriend so you relive it all over again.
Yeah.
If you talking to your mom about it, like now you got to tell your mama and your sister about it. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. It's okay to reflect, but you can't let
Move
that.
on.
That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah, that's like with emotional intelligence. You know what I'm saying? It's just
Okay.
getting better.
So what are some of the rewards that you've experienced as a parent? What rewards have you experienced so far as a parent?
Man, I mean, like you said, my daughter just graduated high school. That
Mhm.
was, that was a great reward. Um, I think that it's just rewarding to see them happy and healthy. I thank God for that every day. Um, and just to see them get past their little accomplishments, to see my son, get potty trained
Mm.
and finally go pee pee in the potty. Like it's the small things to me. You know what I'm saying? Small things to me just make me happy, to see, learning to ride a bike or writing in cursive when they don't really teach cursive in school,
Mhm.
but
That's
writing in cursive
huge.
and
Yeah.
yeah, and my daughter getting a paycheck and her first paycheck and just different things like that. I have wins every day, man. I find a
Mhm.
win every day,
Oh, that's
multiple wins every day.
I like that, and I think that helps to keep things in perspective as well. If you can identify those wins every day, then the setbacks are not as big. They don't matter as much because you have some positives and you have some wins that you kind of keeping in your pocket, keeping track of. So that's good. Um, what's your philosophy as a dad, and what advice would you give to other dads?
uh my philosophy as a dad, um be there, be present. That's um that's my philosophy. Always be present. I think it's very important that your kids see that you're there, not just that you know provide on the back end, but to see you and know that
Mm-hmm.
you're there and that you took time to actually be present in a lot of their moments. uh, and that's my philosophy right there. Be present. um, to other dads, I would say, same thing. You find time to be present there for the kids, because if you're out there a great provider and you're working 100 hours and 130, 50 hours, but your kids never see you, even though you might have provided them a nice life, it's gonna come moments and they're gonna be like, they're gonna act like you ain't do a damn thing for them,
Mm-hmm.
because you wasn't there at the game. You wasn't there, you know what I'm saying, when the tooth came out, or different little things that they remember. Because the only reason why I say that, because I hold on to those things. I just not, like I said, talking to my therapist. I got over certain things. But I used to hold that to my dad, because my dad himself was around but not around. So it was difficult for me to understand why he wasn't at certain things.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got older and I got my own family, then I understood better why he probably wasn't around.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that resentment I kind of let off of. But
Okay.
as a coming up as a teenager and things like that, I resented him a lot for not just for simply not being there.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what was going on in the background with him and my mom. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't privy to that, because I was,
A
I'm a
kid.
kid.
Yeah,
You keep the
you're a
kids in
kid.
the
Not
kids'
supposed.
place.
Yeah.
So I don't know what was going on. You know what I'm saying? But he wasn't there, and as a man, I hold him to that. Like, you didn't have to rock with my mom, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you could have came to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That would have meant a lot to me. But like I said, I understand better now that I'm older and I have my own. So I understand. I'm not saying that I don't, and I don't have no resentment to blame him. But
Mm-hmm.
coming up, yeah, that was a big thing for me. Like,
Well, I think
this dude don't
even
care.
now, Just how you were talking about living in South Florida, the economy, finances, everything is getting more expensive. The price of stuff is not going down. Prices keep going up.
Nope.
Salaries are staying the
Nope.
same. So I think for men and women, and parents in general, now parents are like in a predicament where they probably have to work multiple jobs.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just something like you said, being present, it's almost becoming like a luxury to be present because financially, can you be present? Like, can you
Yeah.
afford to be present, or do you have to now work a second job to kind of fill in the gap with that income? And that's
Right.
even, I think, single parents, of course, they're probably feeling it a lot more and a
Yeah.
lot sooner than we are. But even right now, with a two-parent household, it's still like, okay, what's next? Like, we, like you said, we need another source of income to
Oh,
just
absolutely.
sustain yourself. And we only have, I always tell people, like, we only have one kid, because financially, I just can't see how people are doing it with multiple. Like, I don't know how
I'm
you
telling you.
guys, y'all are like making magic happen. Because
Hey man, listen, it's hey, it's not easy, but the craziest thing about that is, with that being said, if you're not present, right, at certain moments, and we know all this to be fact, because we're adults talking here.
mhm,
You know what I'm saying? We understand that, and like I said, when I mentioned my dad, when I got older, I understood better. You know
mhm,
what I'm saying? But I've seen a lot of parents, be hurt, man. And it's not to their fault. They
mhm,
get hurt because of how their kids, what some of the things their kids are saying to them, based
yeah,
on not knowing that, hey, man, I'm out here busting my tail so you can go to this school, or to
yeah,
provide for you, so you can get those shoes that you want, so you can get those clothes, and you're gonna tell me I don't care about you
right,
because I didn't come to your Dairy Rock game? I
yeah,
had to
that's,
work. I told you I had to work. They don't understand that reason.
yeah,
You get what I'm saying?
yeah,
So it can be very hurtful on a parent. It's hard because you can go back home. You be like, Dad, you might cry yourself to sleep. Like, Dad, I can't believe my son, who I do all this for,
mhm,
told me you don't care. How can he say that?
yeah,
Because he's in the kid's mindset.
yeah, that's true. Or I
They
think
don't they
for
don't they don't
me,
get that.
like now that you say it, I'm thinking back, like reflecting on me and my son with him being in middle school. Sometimes I will tell him that with his behavior, like, you gonna act like that, and you see how me and your dad, how hard we work, we do this, we do that, and he kind of
Oh
like,
yeah.
I just wanted to play the game.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I take
So
it to heart. Like, you didn't take a shower,
yeah.
you didn't get the homework done because you playing a game. Like, you know how disrespectful that is, how hard we work so you can have that game in the internet, and
Yes,
you're
they
not
don't
gonna take a
feel it.
shower.
They don't feel it. Like, God damn it, why I throw you through the wall? You know what
Right.
I had to do?
He kind of
You know what I'm
like,
saying?
because I didn't get off the
Yeah,
game. Like, yes, because you didn't.
yeah.
To
They
me,
don't get
it
it.
makes sense. But now you saying like it's a kid. I forgot about that part. Like,
Like, they don't give a damn.
yeah, I forgot about that part. But it's like, yeah, you try to do all these things. You try to juggle and get yourself through the day. So when your kids don't fall in line with the plan, like, yeah, you that's like that straw that breaks the camel's back. Like, have
Yeah.
you
Now you
lost your
hot with
mind?
them.
Yeah.
Yeah. You hot with Jit, but Jit really don't. He don't know.
Right.
And you try your best to get him to understand, but it just don't hit. It will when they get older, but that's time.
Yeah.
That takes time. When they become adults, yeah, they'll say, "Man, ma, they get up there, do their speeches. Yeah, I gotta thank my mom. The sacrifice of her and my dad. They worked so much to get me. I appreciate it." And you be like, you about to ball up and cry. Oh, you do understand? I did. Yes, I
Right.
did. I sacrificed so much, but in the moment, man, them chicks don't care nothing about
Yeah,
that, man.
he
They want what they want what they want, and they think that you know what I'm saying is on you. They gonna blame you. That's just the shoes that we put on every day. We try to
yeah.
walk in the best we can, but yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think
We
this
we do.
particular day he wanted to I guess my reaction didn't match to him. Like, why is she so mad? So he came back like, I was in a tournament. Like, I can't leave the team. Like, if I leave the team, they
Yeah,
gonna die. They gonna. I'm like, I don't care about you.
hell
If I
no.
said take a shower, he like, but I always have to leave. Like, I'm always abandoning the team. I can't leave the team. We're
Yeah,
not gonna get to the next level.
yeah.
So yeah, it kind
Oh
of just
man.
hearing you say it like it's a kid. They don't care. I'm like, oh, he was trying to explain like I'm gonna do it, but let me. Can we get to the next level so I don't have to leave the team?
You got me
So
out here abandoning the team.
yeah, so we trying to get through it now, but I think me and dad are just in that mindset. We come home from work and it's like, all right, we got to do this, we got to do that, we got tutoring, we got homework, we got to, and we still want him to have that downtime. I think we're trying to also teach him about work life balance because he
Yeah,
has between like say this year he didn't play basketball at all this year. This was his
yeah.
first year of middle school and just we wanted to focus on getting him adjusted to like now you have 6 classes, you got 6 different teachers, you got your own responsibilities. Plus, now you got to go to tutoring. And because you get out of school so late, he doesn't even get home until 5 o'clock. He rides the bus.
Yeah,
So he doesn't make it here till 5 o'clock. So
yeah.
after that, you still got to go to tutoring. If
Mm,
another teacher that you don't get tutored for gave you homework, you got to take care of your homework. The kids have
mm,
these computers and these Chromebooks they got to take to school every day. You got to charge up all your stuff. Like, you don't
yep.
have a lot of time in the evening to chill out and game. But if you stay on your schedule, you might get an hour of gaming in by
Yeah,
the end of the day. And
yeah.
he is just like, y'all keep telling me all this stuff to do. Like, is cutting into my game time. And we're like, no, we trying to give you game time if you follow the schedule. Like, if you get all your stuff done, you could be done with everything by 8 o'clock. Bedtime is 9 o'clock. That means you can have a whole hour of gaming if you just knock this stuff out.
Yeah,
And so that has been the battle with us, but I think we've been trying to respect his boundaries and like his interests because I think for
yeah,
the two of us it's like work, 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 right? And then I
yeah,
think we both kind of realized like, well, that's not a good example. We got to have some downtime and some time to relax because he's
yeah.
watching, right?
Correct.
So with him
Right.
watching, he needs to see us. Yeah, we work, but we also play. We have a good time. We need to
Yeah.
take a vacation so he can see like what are we doing all this hard work for? Because normally I'm like, if I do have a free weekend, I'm like, oh, let's enjoy the mortgage. Like, let's sit in the house.
Yeah. Let's stay in
Let's
the house.
enjoy these lights. We got lights. We got water. Let's
That's
enjoy
real
that.
though.
So it's it's a work in progress for sure, but I love just hearing like, oh, that's a kid because that's the furthest thing from my mind when you like thinking about being a provider, thinking about
Yeah.
giving them everything that they need. Like, it's a
Yeah.
kid. I don't want to hear that. But yeah, the priorities are definitely different. So
Yeah.
so what
100%.
advice do you wish you had been given sooner? Like parenting advice. Is there any parenting advice you wish you would have had a lot sooner?
Mm. Um. Daughters. Some information on raising daughters. I wish somebody would have told me about the mood changes and the attitudes and how to deal with that and not flip back like and shut down because I don't all that spicy attitude and all that, man. Hey, man, I'm daddy now. I ain't with that. I ain't finna how to deal with that. Yeah, I
Right.
wish somebody would have should have told me that, and how the daughters are gonna have. But maybe they did tell me, but they ain't. It wasn't specific. Maybe they did say, "Hey, you having a little girl now? Hey, she daddy's girl." Blah blah blah. Okay, all right. Okay, yeah, you're right, but not really be specific on what that
Right.
means. But how
Yeah.
daddy having a daddy's girl, how that's gonna affect me. How I'm really gonna be at the becking call
Yep.
of a 5-year old or 3-year old or a 18-year old. Like I'm
Yep.
gonna be at the becking call of them.
Oh,
And
it
then I'm
doesn't
not gonna. And I'm
end.
gonna do it. I'm gonna do it voluntarily. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it voluntarily without even knowing.
Yeah, my
I
husband,
wish I
he
would do
wants a
that.
daughter, and I'm like, "Are you sure?" Like, it's different. Yeah, and it's not
It's
going to
different. Don't get me
stop
wrong.
because when she really starts dating, seriously dating, like
Mm,
whatever guy she's dating, she's gonna hold him to that standard. Like, well, my daddy do
right.
this. Well, my daddy did this. Well, my dad. So that it's like a whole nother layer. But I always tell people to be completely honest, having those reactions, having those
Yeah.
emotional reactions with your kids. Like, we're human too. So it's giving
Yeah.
them a chance to see, sometimes kids will put us on a pedestal. We are their superheroes. But
Mm-hmm.
when they push certain boundaries and we give them certain emotional reactions, it's like, hey, I'm human. So you can't push those buttons with me because you're gonna get a reaction or
You're gonna get a reaction now. Facts.
yeah. So
Facts.
I think it's about balance as well, not just overreacting all the time, but letting them see, like, shoot, I'm human. I'm a work in progress. Look, I'll work on it next time. We may not see eye to eye, and sometimes we're gonna
Yeah.
have to agree to disagree, and you know, we'll circle back around and we'll try to figure something out. But it's nothing wrong with that. We're human, and I tell that to parents. I do parent coaching for like parents of younger kids, and I
Yeah.
even tell them the same thing because with the little ones, I think people just want to be careful. They want to do everything with kit gloves, and I'm like, well, it's a way to
Yeah. With the
teach the
kid
little
gloves.
ones too. Hey, for every
Yeah.
action there's a reaction. So
Oh, absolutely.
don't keep them in
Absolutely.
that bubble. Let them see it with you so they kind of have a heads up if they're dealing with other people outside of family. If you do something a certain way, you might get a reaction that you don't like, so be careful. So it's nothing wrong with it. Um
Yeah, and
go ahead.
I think that with the daughters, with the daughters too, and another thing that I learned, advice I would have, that I just kind of learned this is almost like when they have the daughter and they're dating and stuff like that, and I'm trying to be better with my younger one as she grows up, not for them to be so like dependent on the things that I do as daddy, because I think that in some ways when they do get older and they start dating, like it's hard to hold a man and say, oh, my dad took care of that, my dad did this, my dad did that, my dad did that. With this new generation, it's almost like I also have to teach my daughter like to understand like how a man operates, like in a way where the man don't have to do everything for you. There's some things you can do to help the man out, and
Okay.
having her do that with me to kind of get her to understand that you're at the end game. Here we go with the big picture. You're a partner. You know what I'm saying? So like, if you want this young man to be your daddy, he's not going to be me. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Because I created you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm gonna show up at 3 in the morning and change a tire in the rain. And do stuff like that. And yes, you do want a man that's able to do that. But that was just an example there.
Mhm.
But you also want to be able to be productive in the relationship yourself, and not
Yeah.
when you're dating someone, they're not your dad, they're your partner. It's a difference.
Yeah.
So yeah, you want them to be like me from maybe from like a foundational, characteristic perspective,
Mhm.
but not the relationship. You know what I'm saying? The
Yeah.
relationship don't need to be that. And I think when we get older, sometimes daddy issues with women work both ways. It's almost like, oh, yeah, their dad wasn't there in their one way because they never had a dad in their life,
Mhm.
and then you have another daddy issue because their dad was too much in their life, and you dealing with that. It's like, well, just call your daddy. Like, oh, I'm gonna fix the toilet. You go to work, you come home, daddy in there fixing it. It's like, well, God, dog. babe, I said I was gonna fix it. Daddy just can't. You call, you know what
Right.
I'm saying? So it's like that can cause conflict in the house. Same thing with a mom. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah,
like,
that's
oh,
true.
mom in there cooking. You know, same way mothers are with their kids. Dads are like that, in the same way how women, look at the moms and be like, he just a mama's boy. Like I
Yeah.
can't get over that. His mama come before. Men deal with that too. Oh, she's a daddy's girl. Her dad come before me. God dog,
Right.
bruh. Like her daddy this, her daddy that. I ain't your daddy. So it's a balance. You
Yeah.
and being able to teach that to the kids. Yeah,
So I want to ask about your contact information. Um,
yeah.
if listeners want to follow you on social media or get in touch with you, say if they want to do some events or have some questions, how can they get in touch with you?
Yeah, I'm available on Facebook. Prentice Cutter the Mayor on Facebook, and I have two Facebooks. If it's depending on what you're trying to get in contact with me for, but I have my page with my name, Prentice Mobley, on Facebook, and then I have my other Facebook, which is more of an entertainment style side. Is just Prentice Cutter the Mayor, and then on Instagram on Mayor King, mayor.king.cutter on Instagram. Um, I have a talk tick, but I don't be on talk tick like that because
Okay.
uh, but yeah, it's the same thing. It's Mayor Cutter.
Okay.
So, but yeah,
All right. So I'll be sure to add those handles to the visuals and the graphics that we put out for this episode. And I just wanted to say thank you so much for your time. I really enjoyed this interview. It was very
yeah,
insightful. I really
yeah.
enjoyed getting the
Appreciate it.
dad perspective. So thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I like what you're doing here. This good conversation. Good.
Thank you. I appreciate
Yeah.
it. Hey everyone, it's your favorite BCBAD here, Dr. DeLauren, and I'm here to ask you to help us continue making great content for listeners everywhere by visiting www.forshittymoms.com, where you can make a monthly contribution. Also, visit us on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok at For Shitty Moms, and that's shitty with an X, not an I.